So let's look at some things to avoid when you're writing your essay, and just some basic rules of grammar and also just basic formal writing rules to avoid when you're writing. First of all, contractions. So I mentioned this before. You use words such as won't, shouldn't, can't, won't are contractions, and basically they're informal English. So while they're a usual grammar rule and usually they're quite acceptable, have contractions in your writing basically sort of ruin it a little bit, and it just has no place in formal writing. So avoid those, particularly when you're writing essays. You use the words you or I, we and us. Your essay is distant from you. Even if you're writing about something that's related to you, as in related to young people or otherwise, you still avoid using we and us. You just refer to them, whoever you're talking about, as young people or teenagers or however you're referring to them in the question. If you're writing a speech, yes, you would use you and I, we and us, because you'll be pretending to be someone who is a younger person and you'll be taking possession of that. However, in an essay, you won't be. It's something to particularly avoid in essay writing. Next thing is unnecessary adjectives. What unnecessary adjectives are is basically if you go and use very colorful language and use lots of adjectives to describe things that you're talking about from a text or even just an idea. Try and reduce the amount of adjectives that you use. I mean, really, unless you're actually referring to something specifically and discussing it, you don't really need to use adjectives that much in an essay at all. Make sure that if it seems unnecessary and you can just replace that with one word, that you do so whenever possible. Next thing is vague and unspecific points. Try and eliminate any points which don't really talk about anything. What I mean by that is avoid anything which is sort of half, not really, we're getting there, but not quite. Talk about specifics. Find specific things that you can talk about, whether that be a specific group of people, whether that be an age group, whether that be an idea, theme, whatever it is. Don't sort of generally try and find a word and a keyword at that, which you keep referring to, which refers specifically to what it is you're talking about. Opinionated statements, as I mentioned before. Avoid words like saying it's horrible or this or that is right or wrong, because those show off opinion and they're not really things you can base on any particular kinds of facts. You can, as I said, demonstrate through your facts that something might be horrible, but you don't say that it is horrible in an essay. That would indicate bias and it wouldn't necessarily reflect an argument. It would just reflect that this is my opinion and this is what I'm trying to convince you, but I'm not using facts to say that. I'm using my own opinions. And really, you should be trying to use facts wherever you can. And the last thing is starting with conjunctions. Now, I know this is something that comes up a lot in people's creative writing, and certainly conjunctions are things that come up quite a lot when you're starting sentences, when you're writing creatively. But in essay writing, it's a big thing that you can't do. So if you're writing something and then you start your next sentence with and, please don't. I mean, or even but, because what it does is it could easily have been attached to another sentence. When you're writing an essay, you should be writing complex sentences anyway. And the other thing is that your essay writing is not necessarily about flow as much as it is in creative writing. What your essay is about is communicating facts in a logical and airtight fashion. So starting with conjunctions is unnecessary and is a sign of informal English. Do try and avoid that when you're writing your essays. Otherwise, that's basically it for the basics of language essays, or language for essays, and the kinds of writing styles you should be employing in essays. So until next time, I'll see you later.